my name is Cassidy Yates, and I'm a senior environmental engineering and sustainability dual major student here at UNH. I first got involved with the Sustainability Institute after returning from my study abroad in Australia. I was really inspired by the university that I was at and the community there, and was looking to get involved in some hands-on projects when I got back to UNH. So what I first started doing at UNH was a waste analysis, looking at the data about landfilled waste, recycled waste, and some other diversions like trash to treasure, baled cardboard, shredded paper, things like that. And then working closely with Jen, I helped start the composting pilot program in the MUB and the dairy bar. And this was an experience unlike any other project that I had the opportunity to work on. Just the education and outreach component and talking directly with students to help them learn about composting and recycling. And then I began working on the UNH greenhouse gas inventory after my summer, working with the city of Lebanon to do their greenhouse gas inventory as a sustainability fellow. And then while working on UNH's greenhouse gas inventory, I worked more on the SciMap side as well to do data reviews with other schools and universities across the country. So just to touch on my highlights for the internship, I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity, and just working with all of you incredible people has been really encouraging and inspiring, whether it was talking about my project, your projects, or just passing conversations. Hearing these things gives me hope and inspires me that these projects are continuing and happening all over the place in a variety of sustainability fields. And then I think this internship has also been a great opportunity and introduction to sustainability work at the university scale, which I think has made it easier to see how some of these sustainability problems happen and how they work and how we find solutions and how these projects work within that. And then I think it's scalable to allow the skills that I've learned here to be applied when working with companies or communities in a broader range of settings. And while this has been easier to see our projects take place and how the campus and the community have perceived to the sustainability work that we're doing, because we've been living and breathing UNH for the last couple of years while we're all living and working here. So I think seeing these projects firsthand at UNH has been a great way to start getting involved in sustainability. And then communication skills have also been a big part of this internship, and they've really helped me refine my own skills, just putting me in new situations and new discussions like the composting pilot program, where I'm collaborating and working directly with students to help them learn, as well as the data review setting where I'm working with other schools across the country to see what they're doing and how I can help improve their inventories. And then it's also important to know your audience. So in both of those, there was very different audiences that I hadn't worked with before, but I was happy to learn and adapt as I went, and I think that's really important. And then also my personal sustainability has really grown while being an intern here. And again, going back to you incredible people, just being surrounded by you, and it has allowed me to keep myself on track and help me look toward other goals related to like zero waste in my life and just reducing my impact in general. So I just want to thank you, especially Jen, for all your guidance over the couple semesters that I've been working with SI. Seeing the way you take on projects has been really inspiring, especially. And you're always so busy with everything going on, and I'm feeling that too. I just want to get involved in every single project that I see, because they're all so interesting and so amazing. So thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you. You guys, you've never seen anybody dive into a pile of food waste like Cassidy, who was and sorted it and like led a whole bunch of other students who were like, ugh, initially to just get in there and do it. She set it up to be successful. It was amazing, amazing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So thanks to you. And I know you're going to continue to do great, great things. Kelsey didn't say it, but she's doing grad school here in the fall, so we're not going to lose her per se. She's going to be doing something little different.
I'm happy to, I want to keep hearing about all the amazing projects that you guys are working on and stay involved with SI as you guys continue.
You gonna, what's your grad program in?
Environmental engineering. So I'll be doing some research on chemicals and wastewater treatment plants.
Is that with Jim Malley?
It is, yeah.
Oh, so you'll be a Malley cat.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Nice. Any final questions or comments for Cassidy?
I just wanted to thank Cassidy for all the great work that she's done on SciMap over the last year, and wanted to really emphasize the fantastic work she's done on UNH's footprint. She not only calculated our footprint, but also reviewed all of our historical data and made sure that everything we've got in there is documented and clear and consistent over time, which is it's not an easy thing to do. And for the data reviews that she mentioned, these are where other colleges and universities around the country are asking us to review their data sets for their greenhouse gas inventories. And Cassidy's actually been leading those all semester. So working with sustainability staff and faculty at other universities and reviewing their data and getting feedback so they can submit it for their own reports and for their own tracking. So thank you, Cassidy, for all that fantastic work. And it's been such a pleasure to work with you this last year.
Thanks, Allie. Yeah, it's been a great opportunity.
Okay, Rachel, next up.
Alrighty. If it's all right, I'm gonna stop sharing my video just because my Wi-Fi is really not great, so it usually lags. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Rachel Romazuski, and I'm an environmental conservation and sustainability major graduating this year. And over the past couple years, I've been a data intern at the Sustainability Institute. So throughout my time at SI, I've worked on a few main projects. So I'll start with my main responsibility, which is food data analysis. So the objective of my role in this project was to calculate UNH's 2018 and 2019 food weights from all the vendor purchases and further overall contribution to our carbon and nitrogen footprint. What I found really interesting about this position is that I was able to determine how large of an impact food has on the campus footprint and collaborate with dining services on ongoing food footprint reduction initiatives and identify feasible scenarios that could be implemented once further analyzed in the future. So my second main project, more towards this semester, was to fill out the food and beverage purchasing portion of the STARS application for our 2021 submission. So very similar to the food data analysis role, I had to process all of the 2019 food data to determine if it was eligible to receive points towards our application. I really loved assisting in this application as I learned to be very particulate for these types of submissions, which I believe is going to be a very valuable skill going forward. And I also really enjoyed reaching out to local vendors. I thought it was very interesting learning about their practices, why they do or do not choose to be certified. And it was really great to see changes from last year's submission and see all of UNH's progress towards more sustainable purchasing. And it's really great to see what can be accomplished over such a short time span. And my third main project would be working on building out a methodology for UNH's local nitrogen footprint. This has been a really interesting experience as this type of methodology has never been formally done before. So not only will this benefit the UNH community, but this model can also be adopted by other professionals and universities. Although Ali Leach, Jen Andrews, and I have taken the lead on this, there has been so many working groups and professionals to help build out our calculations, including the Ecosystem Task Force, Will Wolheim, a professor here at UNH, and Neil Betts, who has published studies on nitrogen deposition. It has been a little bit challenging with some of these calculations as some of the rates that we're trying to account for, such as the higher atmospheric deposition rates, it's not something that has been formally studied, but it has helped develop my research skills and helped me learn how to dive into the literature in search for particular subjects. So some main takeaways from my internship. So throughout all these projects, it has helped advance my professional skills, technical skills, and allowed me to learn about and take part in campus environmental initiatives and feel very involved in the community that I have called home these past 4 years. I would highly recommend this internship as there are so many opportunities to learn, and everyone at SI is more than willing to help you get involved in any project that you're interested in. For instance, I was invited to and attended an integrated footprint tool workshop hosted by SYNC, which is the National Socioeconomic Synthesis Center, if I got that correct, which was led by Ali Leach and Jim Galloway, who at UVA, where we worked on integrating consumer behavior into the campus footprint. This was such an incredible experience. I learned from so many knowledgeable professionals from all different backgrounds, and we all came together to help build this tool. And I'm so excited to see where the future of sustainability will go at UNH, and so grateful to have been able to participate in all these really incredible projects and initiatives over the years. So real quick, I just want to thank Ali Leach and Jan Andrews, who have guided me and supported me throughout the years and gone out of their way to help advance my professional career and help me get the most out of my internship. And then David Hill at Dining Services, who has answered many of my emails of questions about the food data over these past few years, everyone at the Sustainability Institute, and everyone at the Ecosystem Task Force. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. It's an amazing body of work, and it's so, so helpful and so cool. And it's been really cool to see you just dive in with both hands and so much persistence with all this data. So it's gonna be incredibly helpful, and it's been really fun to work with you on it.
Likewise.
Do you have any questions or comments for Rachel? Quick.
What's next?
I think I'm going to be working at an investment consulting firm in Portsmouth. Not official yet, but that's most likely where I'm going.
I'm Rachel.
Hi.
Are you going to Private Thoughts?
Yes.
Yay! We love those stories. That's awesome. So
Oh.
Prime Buckles is where Rachel did her summer social innovation internship last year, right? Yeah, it was just last year. Feels like a long time ago. That's wonderful. I'm so glad.
Yeah, and I'm going to be helping out with this year's interns over the summer. So.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Works like that, yeah.
Paying it forward. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to thank you, Rachel, for all the incredible work that you've been doing for SI for the last couple years here. Rachel worked with these huge data sets for food. These had thousands of food for an entire year, so thousands of data points in these data sets, and she made sense of them and helped us understand what our starting point was, and has helped us improve our food sustainability here at UNH. And I'm also really excited about the local nitrogen footprint work she's done. This is the first time a calculation like this has ever been done, and a lot of other universities have been interested in it because it'll help connect campus activities with the local environment. So it's a really exciting project, and thank you, Rachel, for all the fantastic work you've done.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Be able to look back and be like, I helped create that, when it's the thing that everybody uses across the country.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Rachel. Jonathan.
Hello, everybody. Okay, let me see. Okay, got this lovely picture of UNH, pretend that we're all still on campus. Okay, good morning. I'm Jonathan Gagne, and I'm a fall of 2019 graduate, so I graduated in the middle of the year. I studied environmental and resource economics, and then I also had a dual major in ecogastronomy. And over the past 5 months, I've had the pleasure of working full-time for the Sustainability Institute as a STARS Project Fellow. And I actually stumbled upon this sort of realm of sustainability by accident. I found the social innovation internship by complete chance. I got accepted to it, had a really awesome experience, went on to become a change maker coach, and did the social venture innovation challenge, and then I ended up here. So really cool story, and I'm super excited to be doing this work, and it's been really awesome and fun so far. So to give just like a really brief overview of STARS, it stands for the Sustainability Tracking, Assessment, and Rating System. And it's a system that universities across the country are using to measure different aspects of their sustainability metrics. So this can be anything from like greenhouse gas emissions, building energy efficiency, sustainable dining, but even what type of classes a university offers. So one of my first tasks was to determine what percentage of UNH undergrad and graduate courses involved some aspect of sustainability. So there was a category of being sustainability focused or including some aspect of sustainability in their curriculum. And it was really interesting because I found that 22% of undergraduate courses included some aspect of sustainability, whether it's weaved in the curriculum somehow, it's touched upon, or if it was completely focused on that. And then 24% of graduate courses had some level of sustainability. And then another aspect of that was continuing education programs. So that number is still in the works, just trying to clarify what courses are classified as what. But there are some really cool opportunities and certificate programs, continuing education courses that include sustainability. So even after you finish your undergrad or graduate school, there's still more opportunities to take advantage of. And these all count towards our STARS metrics. And then, so a second aspect of this work that I've done was looking at zero waste efforts at UNH. So it was brought to SI's attention that there were like several nooks and crannies around campus that had just like stuff. It was just random miscellaneous stuff. So this was the case in old storage buildings that were a little off campus, such as the old dairy barn, which is used for classroom supply storage, desks, but also academic buildings, such as Kendall Hall. So you see on the right, the top right photo is in the old dairy barn. It's just machinery, random stuff. Nobody knows where it belongs. Nobody knows who it belongs to, where it's gonna go, if there's a plan to reuse it or dispose of it properly. And then the bottom right is in Kendall Hall. And so that is a result of the Spalding renovation, but nobody tracked what was going into Kendall. Nobody tracked who it belonged to. If there was a plan for it with a renovation, typically things will be updated. So new things might come in and that stuff might be forgotten about. And so this is sort of a result of not having a strong campus surplus program. And so if you don't know what that is, it's basically like the university's version of like eBay or Craigslist. So there's opportunities for items to be searched for, transferred between departments, donated, sold. But the problem with that is that very few people know that it even exists. And then beyond that, very few people actually utilize it. So we do have a program, but just for reference, like the last time that it was updated was in August of 2018. And some of the links are broken. So that's definitely an opportunity that UNH can look towards. And then another initiative as part of the zero waste movement was being part of the zero waste housing task force meetings. So this was a group of hall directors, the Gables director, Woodside's director, and Res Hall staff that kind of came together that was passionate about zero waste and sustainability to reduce the amount of waste in student res life. So a really cool shout out for them is partnering with the Reusable Network. UNH Housing was able to successfully divert around 55 tons of res hall furniture. So this is like the bureaus, the desks, the chairs, and mattresses, which is all repurposed and sent to those who need it. And there's also a really cool shout out as well, is there's also plans to bring back composting back to the Gables. So that was a program that was either last year or a year ago. And then through whatever happens, it went away, but people were really excited to bring it back. And so before kind of everything hit and we left campus, that was sort of the direction that they're heading in. And if all goes well, they're planning to still bring it back next year. So then I think one of the big takeaways for this is that one of the most impactful, or one of the ways to make sustainable and impactful change is to work towards shifting campus culture surrounding sustainable habits. This can be done through developing a strong peer-to-peer education system, which again is one of the many metrics of STARS, which is awesome. But in order to build this strong peer education network, it's important to look at the resources that UNH already has. I think I heard it from someone at the Sustainability Institute that the most sustainable thing is the thing that you already have. So UNH has a lot of really cool programs and organizations that already are peer educators. So we have Trash to Treasure, we have Seek, we have Net Impact, we have Slow Food UNH, and these are just a few of the incredible programs and organizations that are already leaders in peer education that SI could potentially utilize to reach a broader audience and help shift that campus culture. And then even within Res Life, there are opportunities to strengthen peer education. So there's the Environmental Advocates Program, and it's really cool because some universities are now also incorporating sustainability into the RA training program. So there's a lot that goes into RA training, but a little lesson, it's like a 30-minute video that people watch. They do a quick activity, and that way it's on the RA's mind that sustainability is something that you can easily incorporate into the res life. So that's a really cool thing that universities are doing that we can maybe look towards. And then also this idea of a green room certification program. So this is a really cool program that a lot of universities are doing right now, where it's like the environmental advocates or eco reps, which a lot of universities are calling it. But it's essentially like a checklist of point system where students can cross off like they have energy efficient lights in their desks, their desk lamps, or they have power strips to control their electricity usage, or they're using reusable water bottles instead of plastic cups or bottles. And then once you hit a certain threshold, you get this really cool certificate that you can sort of display on your dorm door saying that like this room is green room certified. So it's a really cool incentive to get students on board, and it gives them something to sort of showcase to their friends, maybe bragging rights, and get students definitely engaged, which is awesome. And then these are some honorable mentions that were sort of going on before we left campus. But one of the cool things that I was working on was the Oyster River High School Zero Waste Sustainability Dinner, which super long name, but that's the official title that they were gonna give it. But it was a really cool effort to sort of bring food farmers in the area, the Three Rivers Food Alliance, to partner with the Oyster River Sustainability Club. And then they also really wanted to incorporate the community and members of UNH into this and create a like holistic community dinner that was all locally sourced food. It was going to have zero waste. It was going to be open to the public, and it was sort of a way to bring everybody together to work towards these goals, which was really cool. And hopefully it'll happen either in the fall or the spring of next year. Another shout out was Earth Day Cleanup with the Planning Student Organization. So again, like utilizing a lot of cool clubs that we already have to do awesome events like that. And then an interesting idea that I had that I never really got around to, just because there's so many things going on, was Student Oregon event composting. So I had gone to a few events that had food there, and sort of after we left the event, we weren't really sure what to do with the food waste, or we weren't sure what to do with the waste of like the packaging and that sort of thing. So creating some sort of transportable compost bucket system that orgs or events could rent out or just borrow, to take food waste from the events and then bring it to the MUB and make sure we compost that, so that way the events and student orgs don't get missed for that. And yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to pretty much everyone in SI has been so amazing and awesome, especially a huge shout out to Jen. She's been an awesome mentor and friend through all of this, and she's always there. So I really appreciate that, and has definitely made this an amazing experience for me. So thank you.
Well, I second, triple, 400 times back at you. Like, you've been amazing. Jonathan has juggled so many different projects and done so with gusto. There's been lots of fits and starts. It's been constant readjusting, and he's tackled it all with grace and commitment and flexibility and creativity. So thank you for all of that. And I hope you all will follow up and ask him some questions and talk to him about those projects, because they're all really important, and you'll be hearing more about them. But in the interest of time, we're going to move along. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.
So I think I'm next, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure this out. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Mary Shotton, as most of you know, and I have been an intern at SI since the summer of 2019, I believe. And it, like everyone is saying, it has been an amazing experience. So I am also a graduating senior, which is very sad. My major is economics, focusing on sustainability and public policy. So as Jonathan mentioned, I also kind of randomly stumbled upon SI. During my time at UNH, I had heard bits and pieces of different things sustainability related, just given like the campus and stuff like that. But I had seen the composting bins around like the dairy bar and stuff like that Cassidy was talking about, how she implemented that project. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool. I want to get involved with that. And that's how I met Jen. And Jen was kind of like, wow, you're so interested in this. And she kind of like pulled me on board. So that's how I started working over the summer with SI. I worked with a co-intern, Paige McKibben, and I worked under a fellow, Kayla Conway from SUNY ESF, which was super cool. The fellowship was a project that was in partnership with the company Plan in Dover. And what we did was we analyzed the campus waste streams using the Atlas system mapping plan. And it was a huge project. It took a lot of collaboration and communication, and we had to sort out a lot different. There was like a different section for like everything we were working on. There was surplus, there was recycling, there was compost, there was so many different things we were working on, but it was so much fun to tackle. And I definitely learned like a crazy amount over the summer about UNH and about sustainability and just everything that was going on. And then I continued my internship in the fall, but it was definitely a little bit different. I worked on compost mainly, taking over for Cassidy, what she had set up perfectly. It was such a cool system. One of the things that I did was the sorting that she was mentioning, going into a big pile of food and just like pulling out any contamination and stuff like that, that was definitely necessary. And then something else that kind of randomly arose was over the summer, I had attended a sustainability conference up in Maine, and they had liquid collection up there. And ever since I had conversations with them about their liquid collection, I was very interested in like the benefits of that. So I started researching it, and I realized that it actually saves a lot of money, and it's very cool. So me and Jen and Kendall had a conversation with some of the MUB employees, and they said that they would love to do that because it actually helps with them take the trash out and stuff like that, because it's less messy when you take the liquid out of the trash. So that actually started up in the MUB in the Union Court. There was two liquid collection stations, so I think that's pretty cool. And then more recently, towards the end of my internship, I worked on the education and outreach portion of my conversation. I'm in the process of developing a residence life kit. So it's going to be like a Kahoot general information about SI that all the RAs will have access to, so they can bring it into their social and like just explain some stuff about SI and sustainability on campus. And then me and Jonathan and Jen have also started a conversation about building a sustainable dashboard, so all students on campus or people who are interested, anybody can have access to seeing what projects are going on or what have gone on in the past and how successful they were, what changes needed to be made, stuff like that. just having like one place for that, because over my time working at SI, I think that has been something that has come up as kind of a problem, kind of not knowing like what has been done or like a repetitive process. And it just kind of seems like a very efficient way to keep track of all that. And then also in the process of keeping track of that, getting more people involved with seeing what SI is doing. So some of my main takeaways from my projects were over the summer, I also did a bin standardization map of the COLSA buildings. So I did a walkthrough of all the COLSA buildings and drew out like what trash or what bins were where. And I think that was like important to note because it seems to kind of get forgotten about because it's such a slow process that needs to be standardized. But as time goes on, like that's something that can be like slowly mended. And then also the system mapping with the campus waste streams with the Atlas work with Plan, that was amazing. And then in the fall, I personally tracked about 630 pounds of compostable material and sorted through it every week and pulled out any plastic or any Dunkin' Donuts bags that happened to be in there. And working with the amazing MUB employees, we actually saw a 13% decrease in contamination, so that was awesome. And then the liquid collection bins were started, and then I'm currently working on exploring a sustainable social for all RAs to be aware of and use, so we can try and get some more peer-to-peer going on. Some of my personal takeaways were definitely teamwork and consulting experience working with Plan and Dover. That was an amazing experience. And also adaptability, obviously with the coronavirus and everything going on. And also working at SI, you have to like email a whole bunch of different departments and like figure out how you're gonna do things. And I think that really helped me fine tune some of my adaptability skills because I had to figure out, okay, this person's gonna take a little bit of time to get back to me. So I'm gonna work on this to be more efficient and then wait, and then stuff, organization like that just kind of was like a personal development for me. And then communication and critical thinking, obviously everyone in the office I interacted with in some way along my time there was always helpful and amazing. So some of my suggestions for the future, obviously everyone recommends a point person for sustainability, but that's not always ideal in certain circumstances, but the dashboard is definitely like a perfect next step if that can be set up in like a super well-oiled way. And then I would suggest marketing towards sustainable clubs and raising awareness that SI has a ton of projects and opportunities going on. And because that's how I kind of fell into SI, like because Jen was kind of like, oh, we have this cool like composting project, like you want to help out? And I was like, totally. But I would have never known that if I didn't just like randomly start talking to her. So, and then also just marketing like the sustainable social so all the RAs are aware, because I know sometimes there's really cool things out there, but people aren't like super aware of like everything going on. And then I would definitely recommend the continuation of the compost pilot, because I know Cassidy and I worked on it really hard, and it's definitely something that people want after having conversations with like all the students bin goalieing. It's definitely like a buzz on campus, but it's hard to get people who want to sit and like sort through all the garbage. I understand, but some sort of continuation of that is just definitely necessary because I think it is appreciated on the campus. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing those observations and ideas, and for all of your hard work and commitment and creativity.
Yeah, Jen, do we have time for a question?
Yeah.
Mary, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Sustainable Social Kit? What's
yeah, so I've been in the process of doing a lot of research because Jen and I came up with the idea of having like a kit that an RA can like have access to or go to Res Life and grab or something like that. And I've been reading a lot about like what other colleges do in terms of like sustainable socials in dorms and stuff like that, or residence halls and stuff like that. And they do a lot of like Recycle Mania or things like that. And we kind of came up with an idea, or I saw it from a different college, to do like a Kahoot social that would do like just information about SI and stuff like that. And then I was also pondering a couple different ideas about like a make your own reusable bag or a make your own mason jar, like painting or something like that. I'm definitely going to wrap up the Kahoot and have that finished up. But I'm still researching some of the like jars and stuff like that, because that's a little bit more difficult, but yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Mary.
And we're going to have a chance to have a follow-up around a lot of this peer-to-peer stuff,
Yeah.
hopefully this week or the week after. So we'll
Yeah, great. Awesome.
to be continued.
Yeah.
So again, I hope if other people have questions or comments for Mary, you'll reach out. But we need to move along in presentations. So thank you very much, Mary.
Yeah.
Kendall.
Yep. Let me get my screen up for you guys. All right. Can you guys see my screen so far?
Yes.
I'm gonna make it big. All right. Awesome. All right, so hello everyone. My name is Kendall Gray. I'm also a senior environmental conservation and sustainability student at UNH with a minor in Spanish. So I also kind of stumbled across the Sustainability Institute back sophomore year. During that semester, I was heavily involved with the Student Environmental Action Coalition, and I met some of the other interns at EarthFest, so that's how I learned about SI, and then I got my foot in the door last summer as a campus climate action planning fellow. So I was essentially researching high performance building standards and carbon pricing as greenhouse gas emission reduction strategies. And then currently, this past year, I've been the engagement and outreach intern for the Sustainability Institute. So my presentation is largely going to focus on the engagement and outreach intern part. And yeah, I'll get right into it. So I was managing the Environmental Advocates program at UNH. For those who may not be super aware of it, it is a peer-to-peer education program that's based within residence halls. So essentially, at the start of the semester, during hall council elections, individuals can run to be an environmental advocate, which is also commonly known as eco-rep among a lot of other campuses across the nation. And they essentially, they work alongside other environmental advocates to create socials that focus around sustainability within their dorms to kind of broaden the culture of sustainability on campus, as Jonathan was mentioning earlier. So what I really liked about the program was that I really have free reign to kind of make it what I wanted. And I kind of thought of, if I were in this role, what would I want to do? And actually, Mary was one of our environmental advocates. And I know that Rachel was an environmental advocate and she was a freshman. So we got some seasoned environmental advocates in the group here. So I essentially hosted weekly meetings every Monday night with the environmental advocates, and during these sessions we would have facilitated discussions that were based off of news articles, speakers, or short clips and stuff, and they seemed to really like that. I could really tell as the semester wore on that the group really started bonding well, and we had some really very good discussions around topics of sustainability and topics that I hadn't really considered. And so that was really great to just see their enthusiasm. And then also during these meetings, we would be kind of debriefing and planning our events. So we kind of talk through struggles or what events really hit home for the residents, and then brainstorm future ideas down the road. And so each month was kind of divided into a particular theme. So we talked about ethical consumerism, waste, energy, all different kinds of things. Fiona actually spoke at one of our meetings, as did Alex Freed, and Cassidy came as well. So that was also part of this presentations, bringing in other people so they could kind of network and just hear from people beyond myself about sustainability. And then, as I mentioned, the hall activities themselves. So fall semester was really great. I mean, obviously this past semester has been not ideal as far as residence hall-based activities, but some of the events that they held were movie screenings, such as like WALL-E or topics like that were fun, but they could still integrate topics of sustainability into. Supposedly during one of the activities in Alexander Hall, they all started chanting which numbers could be recycled, and that was really exciting. They were all like super excited about it. Had some recycling competitions, campus cleanups, trivia nights, and we had a total about 13 very active environmental advocates, which I think is one of the most. So that's really exciting to see the program growing, and I really hope that we can get full representation across campus. Even on our very first meeting, one of our environmental advocates, I kind of picked her as our star environmental advocate. She came with a whole week-long sustainability plan that she had written up for the minis, and it was just seeing the passion, enthusiasm, and what among them was just so amazing. And then we also had some campus tours, just to again kind of mix things up, and this was kind of to offer opportunities for individuals who wanted to dig a little deeper. So it wasn't mandatory, it was just, if you want to, if it's in your schedule, great. So we toured Keeman Farm, the Thompson School biomass plant, and then the cogeneration plant. So some successes and challenges. As I mentioned, it was really great listening to the environmental advocates. We had a range from freshman to senior, and I just love talking to people about sustainability and just hearing their enthusiasm, their intelligence just was really incredible. Hearing about successful events such as the movie screen at Alexander Hall, and from hall directors. One of the hall directors from Hetzel Hall emailed me just saying how proud she was of her environmental advocates, so that was really great. And then some of the challenges, there's definitely a lot of troubleshooting I found throughout the program. Very big learning curve, whether that was, as we all have probably dealt with, as events that just don't have the turnout, which is hard because you want to make sure your environmental advocates stay motivated and excited, and don't let events that don't get the best turnout kind of bring them down. Infrastructural challenges, so that was something we were struggling through this past semester, and having a energy reduction competition, and just metering among buildings and the granularity of that. And then sometimes just lack of support from Residence Hall Council. So I think just in the future, I think I'll go to my next slide, to improve upon the program, I think if we can get full representation on residence halls, that would be amazing. Even compensating the environmental advocates for their time. It's always kind of a hard balance to strike among having volunteers and what's too much to ask, what's not enough. So kind of balancing that line. Even building a social media presence. I know UVM, they have a Instagram for their environmental advocates. It's really cool, and it could be a good way of highlighting their work. And then some ideas, Sustainability Residence Hall newsletter that it goes out each month. And then just integrating sustainability into residence assistant and hall director curriculums. I know there's certain topics they have to cover throughout the semester. So if the environmental advocates can tag team with the RAs, that will be a really big time saver and also get a really great turnout, but that has to be done really far in advance. So one thing I've been working on this past semester and will be finishing up is this guidebook that kind of goes through the troubleshooting and what I found and other resources integrated. So these are a few screenshots of the guidebook that I'm currently working on. My hope is to post it to the ASHE Resource Hub to be of use for other programs. So here's just a few screenshots of that. It's been really fun making that. And so just looking forward, as far as my career, working with the Sustainability Institute has been really incredible. It's allowed me to get my foot in the door, which I'm eternally grateful to Jen, Cameron, and Adam for bringing me on first as a fellow, and then continuing my work with Colleen. That's just been so incredible and has really shown me what things I'm passionate about. So I really just love understanding kind of this human environment relationship, which I think was definitely strengthened through my internship. And I just love interacting with people, hearing their stories. And then also just various courses I've had at UNH, such as my environmental sociology course, and then my experiences abroad with communities that are just very integrated with the environment, such as indigenous cultures in Nicaragua and New Zealand, has just been really incredible. So I'm hoping to take a gap year, find some type of work, and then I'm interested in a master's degree in anthropology at Colorado State University with a dual specialization in humans and the environment and resilience of social ecological systems. So fingers crossed. And then, as Jen knows, I'm working on developing this other social media platform called Humans and Sustainability. She is my first interviewee, and I promise I'm going to get around to writing your story. I've just been very busy. So that's just a platform for me to share people's love and passion for sustainability to kind of inspire hope in future generations. So yeah, so just thank you to everyone at SI, also for Jonathan and Mary for looking into more of that residence hall stuff. I'm really excited, would love to hear more about that. And then any way I can be of help in the future, I am happy to do so. I just get so much excitement from these topics. So yeah, so questions, comments, open for anything.
I just want to say, Kendall, that handbook looked really great. You did a really great job with that so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the meeting we're going to have in a few weeks and to talk about, so peer education. I think some of your suggestions at the end, Kendall, about how to deepen this work is really intriguing. So looking forward to digging in more to that. It's really
Me
great
too.
Hey Kendall, it's Colleen. My video is not working,
No worries.
and I don't want to reboot my computer and miss presentations. I just want to thank you so much for being such an incredible intern. You took the Environmental Advocates Program and ran with it. I did nothing. I felt like you just had that and were able to grow it and are so mature and thoughtful and energetic, and I'm going to miss you so much. And I'm really grateful for all the work that you've done being an intern this year.
Thank you so much. It's been so great working alongside with you, and maybe we can even get out for a run sometime.
I would love that. Yeah, 6 feet away, but I would absolutely love that.
We'll be across the road from each other.
We need to wrap that into all of our intern work plans moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So two things. We need to keep moving, and obviously we're going to go a little bit over, so I hope anybody who can stay will stay. And again, this is recorded too, so and I'll definitely be staying on. Thank you again, Kendall. Elizabeth, you're up.
Hey everyone. Let me get it pulled up here. Can everyone see that okay? Awesome. So hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Kane. I'm a rising senior majoring in environmental conservation and sustainability with a business administration minor. And so my work here with SI this year, my official title is a Green Office intern, but this year it can be more broadly classified as engagement and outreach. So primarily my main responsibilities are the Green Office program, promoting sustainability efforts on campus, database management, and maintaining our social media presence. In terms of the Green Office program, it's kind of taken a backseat this year because there have been many reevaluations of it in the context of resubmitting to ASHE for our STARS rating. So we were kind of navigating what the path forward was for that, and it was a little bit unclear. So Colleen and I found that it was best to focus my efforts in other areas that could be a little bit more immediate. So with that, the sustainability efforts in general, my job was just kind of promotion, and our primary goal for that was to get a more active presence of sustainability on campus. And we want to bolster this, especially with students, as this area is one that it often goes on. Our work is, more operational behind the scenes. So, you come across the fact that a lot of students don't really know all the opportunities or all of what's going on campus and just like systematically. So in order to do this, I tabled at speaker series. I also helped out with the compost pilot. I was just a volunteer and, was one of the person confronting people about how to sort their waste. And then I also worked to promote and publicize various events through the Sustainability Coalition. So that was, either SI itself, our partners, student orgs that are sustainability oriented. And then I also worked a little bit with making some promotional videos, more on the changemaker education side of things, such as Semester in the City. And so that was more of a recent effort with that one. For the database management, a lot of the housekeeping tasks I took on were uploading, updating, and specifying contacts on MailChimp so we can reach as many people as we can effectively as possible. I also transcribed lots of the videos we posted to YouTube for the programming that would normally be in person, but went virtual given the circumstances. So that was a lot of like the Earth Day webinars, amongst other things. Along with this, I helped to maintain posting schedules and organize content for social media on Box through researching and gathering ideas and documenting those. So a lot of what I did was just kind of research on social media. Also, HG is a great resource for that, and the Green School listserv. There's just so many ideas flowing around sustainability, it's so collaborative. So I would kind of go out there and see if there was any good ideas for content, especially in the context of messaging with COVID and how we keep sustainability, relevant and manageable, because people have so many things on their plate, and sometimes it's something that unfortunately is the first to go. And then I also attended a Drupal training, so I am a little bit more familiar with the inner workings of the website now. So I help to update and upkeep the website, and especially with promoting and making the space visible and manageable for people to access when applying to the sustainability fellowships. And this portion of my internship became particularly prevalent in the context of the integration of the Sustainability Institute and the Center for Social Innovation and Enterprise, which I'm sure, as we all know, required a significant portion of bookkeeping. So I was happy to help with that, jump on it, and make sure that transition happened really smoothly, because it's really important to consolidate all those resources. With the social media presence, I mainly work to keep our account active by keeping up with Instagram stories to promote certain programs and events, along with general tips for living sustainably. That one was a little bit more fun and creative. And it's interesting because the messaging, has to be pretty visual and pretty sparse with words. So it's how you get those, meaningful messages across on a platform such as that is, it's an interesting balance, but it's fun because you get to be a little bit more like visual and artful about it. And part of that was also I completed a Wildcat takeover where I shared a day in the life for me as a student experiencing remote learning and how I've incorporated sustainability into my life, which is a little bit more of an indirect peer-to-peer education platform. And finally, it was just engaging with other sustainability accounts. So this was also to get ideas, to get inspiration, and strengthen our sustainability network within higher education in a little bit more of a casual way. But it was also really cool just to see, what the other accounts look like and what people are doing and how they portray that. So from my experience in my second year with the Sustainability Institute, I continued to gain valuable experience to navigate and expand upon the highly collaborative nature of sustainability work. This often includes how to effectively frame your messaging so that it not only reaches a large network of people, but also resonates with them enough to consider it further, especially with students and faculty and staff on a campus. There's so many primary responsibilities that everyone operates with, and to get through to people and have it resonate, and for them to actually care about what you're saying can be tricky at some point. So really knowing your audience, framing your messaging, doing that sort of thing, I gained a lot of experience in that. I also had some hard skills with the technology aspects of my tasks, with knowing how to transcribe videos, the website editing. That one was really helpful and cool to see, and yeah, just kind of the more technical side of things. And then finally, the managing transitions and connecting them to content. So this was especially with the context of the SI and CSI merger. So you have to apply those new protocols to the materials you produce, know that you're messaging to a larger audience, and keeping both the values of both subgroups intact, but also just like, again, knowing your audience and knowing how to reach people with more broad messaging that's also still really impactful. Which was an interesting balance. And overall, it's just been a very beneficial experience to further understand the inner workings of project management and operational tasks that must take place to get things up and running. So I wanted to say thank you for having me all this time. I really enjoyed it. The community that you guys provide is amazing as well. And I'm always just so thankful for the work I get to do, the exposure that I get, and all the people that I'm surrounded by. So I absolutely love working for everyone, just like everyone else does, which is great. And thank you for your time. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to elaborate too. Probably at a later point, given the time constraint, but.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. Jake, you have the unenviable task of being the last presenter, but we're very excited to hear about.
Well, it's nice because I can see everyone else and what they're presenting, and I get all the tips and everything, and so now mine's going to be so good.
Right on.
All right. So now I have to figure out how to do this. Oh, perfect. Okay. So can you guys see my screen? Yep. Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, let's see if I can present. Well, hey everybody. Thank you for watching my presentation. My name's Jake. I'm an environmental science major and a business administration minor, and a proud sustainability fellow this past spring. So I'll get right into it. So I worked with the New Hampshire Food Alliance, which is a broader network in New Hampshire. And so I specifically worked with the Backbone team, which is directly associated with the Sustainability Institute, working with Tom and Sam and Aaron Hale and Jennifer Wilhelm and everyone in SI in general, but mainly them. And so our role is mainly to try to build relationships in the food system and inform the public on great solutions that are up and coming throughout different entities. We try to connect consumers, farmers, businesses, everyone that is a stakeholder in our local food system. And so we have sort of a framework for looking at this, the Viability Initiative, which includes these 4 initiatives: food access, education, market development, and land and sea resources. So basically a way of breaking down how to move forward in the food system. Education is thinking about how we can both inform consumers on their local food options, but also how we can give educational opportunities to farmers and businesses who are growing in our state. Market development is all about creating demand for local food. Land and sea resources is thinking a lot about the conservation of our resources throughout New Hampshire, all the things that we depend on to have a fish market, having a farm, and a local farmer's market. And then finally, food access, which is all about having channels to get to local food. So if we have all these farms and everything, how are we going to make sure that everyone has access to affordable local food options? So a few of the things I got involved with as an intern. First, I had the opportunity to help facilitate the statewide gathering, which was an incredible experience. Top food system leaders from all around the state, including some really valuable stakeholders like governors there, and a lot of scientific specialists giving really great information on the upcoming challenges in the food system, the solutions. There's a number of breakout sessions. One of them, Fiona, I led that I went to, and so Fiona's there with Revision Energy talking all about B Corps. And so there's all these great breakout sessions where people can go and learn about the other solutions that other people in the food system are coming up with and work them into their own solutions. I would say the majority of my work as an intern has been writing 4 commentaries for NHFA. So each commentary has been kind of focused on each of the viability initiatives and has brought in a personal or a anecdotal story from New Hampshire. So the first one focusing on food access is the Seacoast Area Mobile Market. Celeste Gringos, who owns a great mobile market that she runs through the Seacoast area and to Maine, bringing food to food insecure areas, giving really affordable options and overcoming a lot of the food access barriers in our state. Kearsarge Food Hub, which is a really innovative food hub market that also has a lot of educational programs for informing kids as young as first grade all the way through to college students and at Colby Sawyer, working on these really great innovative education programs, helping students to not only understand like where their food comes from, but how they can get involved and what the solutions are in growing food in the future. Mount Washington Valley Eaters and Growers is MW Veg is a marketing group. It's a collaborative of farmers and consumers who are working on marketing local food in the Mount Washington Valley area. And finally, I'm writing a more broad commentary on local fishing and the disconnect between policymakers and local fishermen. There's been a lot of struggle for local fishermen because a lot of the most recent policy has been aimed at large commercial operations that have put a lot of local fishing operations at a disadvantage and don't take into account their business models. So I'm trying to develop a commentary here that can bring light to this issue and hopefully bring these stakeholders closer together and form solutions that take into account both of their sides. I actually have had an incredible opportunity to also bring all of this into the COVID-19 context, which has been a really interesting experience. I'm finding, a lot, not only am I learning so much about these local food system solutions, but also I'm learning about how they are incredibly useful, especially in having a resilient or sustainable food system during these times like COVID-19, where food access and knowing about food options is especially a difficult situation. So we're learning about these wonderful businesses that are still able to provide local food to those in need, even when some of the supermarket shelves are empty. So I could go into a lot more depth on this, but this was really a great experience doing this in the COVID-19 context. And then just some things I've thought about moving forward in the food system. I really had no idea how amazing some of the solutions are right in New Hampshire, some of these small operations and how innovative some of their business models are. And I think that it would be really great to integrate into our networking model for NHFA and hopefully, broader networking models for Food Solutions New England and maybe throughout the country, frameworks for building these business models in other parts of the state. And I think, that's what NHFA is all about. And I think that it would be really nice if there was some sort of easy way for people interested in building a food hub to have some sort of framework to look to that's been developed from referencing people like the Kearsarge Food Hub and these other businesses in the state that have already done these great things. Personal growth, I didn't have any amazing pictures of me at the statewide gathering, anything like that. So I just put this picture from NHBSR. But so yeah, I've grown a lot, I think, with my writing skills, specifically in writing these commentaries. I've had a background in writing scientifically primarily. And so this is a really great experience to sort of broaden my skills to be able to speak to a larger audience about these sustainability topics. Of course, networking skills. I met so many people at the statewide gathering and able to, I had to talk to so many different food system leaders about so many different topics. So it was really interesting to get that experience. And I feel like I have a broader understanding of the local food system. Local food is something that's really important to sustainability. And I feel like I didn't really know a lot about it going into this internship. And so I really enjoyed getting that experience. And it's made me rethink food in my life in general, where I get my food, what the sustainable option is, how am I going to support my local economy and local businesses, and where's my food going to go? And it's actually led me to build a compost at my house. And, I've had a lot of conversations with my family since being home working on this internship. So it's been a really great experience personally. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in NHFA, Tom. I don't think Aaron's here, but Aaron and Jennifer, both of them have been amazing. And Sam, I want to give a specific shout out. Sam has been on so many Zoom calls, sometimes like the worst time in the afternoon on Fridays to work on editing these commentaries. So I just want to thank Sam and everyone for all of your help. And a broader thank you to everyone in SI. I feel like I've had a connection with everyone on this call one way or another, and it's led me to make a lot of the decisions in my career and my life that I have today. And I'm really excited for what's next in my sustainability career. And that was probably more than 5 minutes, but I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It was lovely. And we're really excited about that too.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you, Jake, for all the important work that you've done for us. I think that right now these stories are more important than ever because people are really seeing the cracks in our food system. I think it's just been highlighted so much from COVID, and we're working really, really hard to get the message about the local food supply out right now. So there's never been a more important time for these stories to be written. So thank you for all your work.
Thanks, Sam. I obviously couldn't do it without you. So it's been an ongoing writing challenge with me and Sam trying to put these together. So thanks, Sam.
Don't forget about our Zoom call today.
Yes.
We have another one.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to having you as part of the Sustainability Fellows program this summer too.
Yes, I'm also looking forward to that. Very excited.
Fiona.
Is it time for me?
To you. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Well, I can't tell you what a wonderful end to the week this has been. In fact, I think this has been a wonderful end to at least the 8 weeks of social isolation, but a really wonderful end to the semester. And I've been talking to a lot of groups of students in the last couple of weeks, and so many of you have been in some of those things as well. So it's hard to think about, what to say that isn't repetitive, but here's what I'd really love to say to all of you. I mean, first of all, thank you. And congratulations. The work that you've all presented is so important and impactful and professional and articulate. And it was just a joy to see this today. And it was really eye-opening for me to see the extent of your work. I'm not involved in these projects on a day-to-day basis, and it just gave me a really new appreciation for all that you are doing and that you're working on with your mentors. I think in many ways, this presentations today and the work that you do all year round really exemplify to me one of the core sort of tenets of sustainability, which is really about this idea of sort of reciprocity and mutual benefit. We win when you win, right? And I think that's one of the really core ideas in sustainability, that it's not either or, it's about both and. How do we create resilient systems where everybody in the system kind of benefits? And so I think, as I was watching these presentations today, I definitely saw and heard in what you said, the value that you placed on being able to do these experiences with SI as interns. It's very clear that it's been a very valuable part of your education at UNH. It may not be in the classroom. It's really allowing you to take what you've learned in the classroom and also just build a whole range of other skills. And just seeing your poise and your confidence and your competence, you're working on things that are technically very sophisticated and organizationally challenging. Building a culture of sustainability in a large organization like UNH is complicated and messy, and you've been learning how to navigate that through communication skills and political skills. So I loved seeing that and hearing how much you valued this as part of your education, and it just makes me feel excited to kind of work with all of you, some of you, to think about how do we, how do we make that more available to more students, right, rather than just this sort of small group of people like yourselves. So definitely, a valuable part of your education, and that's wonderful to see. But in that sort of theme of mutual benefit, I hope you know how vital your work is as part of our work. You are an extended part of our team at SI. We literally could not be doing the work we're doing to make sure UNH continues to be a leader in sustainability nationally without your work. Jen mentioned the sustainable learning community at the beginning, and your work really sort of embodies that, right? We are able to have platinum stars, and we'll hopefully keep platinum stars because of your contributions. And it's not just the work that you're doing. I mean, that is valuable in itself, right? You literally help extend our team's capacity to get things done. But you bring a really important aspect, which is the student perspective. And you're bringing us new ideas. We're learning from you. Many of you are great at sort of challenging us and challenging our thinking. You're helping us see our blind spots, right? Because this is work we've been doing for a long time. But you help sort of shine a light on what we're not doing and where we could be doing things better. And I think, more than anything, you inspire us because of your passion and your energy. And so I want you to know how vital your contributions and your presence are as part of our work. And I'm so glad that we pulled this, Jen and Colleen pulled this session together today, because I think we perhaps haven't always found a way to make your contributions seen and heard by a broader group. And also, to have you be part of our team. I think it's been really kind of cool in the last 8 weeks while we've been in social isolation that we've included you in our virtual team meetings, and many of you have been joining that. And I think that's something we should do going forward. You are part of our team. And I think, I've heard you talk about the value that you get from being part of this group and working with role models and mentors. And that is a huge part of sort of this kind of experiential learning, that you can develop your professional networks. And so just want to sort of let you know that, I think going forward, we will much more systematically include our team of interns, in our team meetings and our other sort of team gatherings and our team communications, because we want you to feel like you are part of our team, and that you can sort of learn, from that as well. So again, thank you and congratulations. You guys just rock, totally rock it. And I know most of you are graduating, but we know that you will stay in touch with us. We have your backs. We are looking forward to sort of helping you figure out what you do next in your career, and we're always here for you. So we want to hear what you're doing, but we also want to help you. So reach out and ask for our help as you navigate this next part of your journey.
Here, here. I echo what Colleen said. I will miss you all so, so much, but I hope not really, because I hope we will be so closely in touch that I won't have a chance to miss you. And this is not the last word. So like Sam said, don't forget the Zoom this afternoon, next week, whatever.
So thank you, everyone. And oh, I'd love to do, so maybe I'll have almost all the SI colleagues maybe drop off, but I want to take a photograph, a screenshot of all the SI interns. So I'll do that before we leave. So if the interns could stay on just before Jen closes it out, so we can do a cool photograph. That would be great.
The only thing, I don't know if I can drop off and still have it recording. Did you want it recorded or not?
Oh no, I'll just take a photograph with my phone. But,
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna hide myself. So hide self view, and if anybody, Jen, you could probably you could hide yourself, or Michelle, you can hide yourself.
No, that wasn't. Look at that. Huh.
There, look at
Fancy me.
that. If you go to the 3 little dots by your face, there you go, Michelle. She's figured it out. All right, nice job. All right, let's see if we can do a nice photograph of that. There, let's see. Perfect. Yes, you can do anything like fun
Yes,
that you want to
please.
do. Anybody want to emulate Jake's goofy?
Love it. Love it. Oh, yeah.
Yay, that's so much more fun. There you go. Perfect. You guys are amazing. Thank you for such great work all year long, and for many of you it's been multiple years. So yeah, I know many of you aren't going to be strangers, so we'll be in touch. But thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.